point is, the reason why RSS Sarsanchalak is now going to the US is because these far-right leaders, whether it was Boris Johnson, whether it is Trump, whether it is other far-right leaders, populist autocrats as we call them, they have realized that Prime Minister Modi is not keeping his end of the deal. They keep vilifying leader of opposition Rahul Gandhi every time he goes abroad. Whenever he talks about India abroad, they say that, oh, he's what is the phrase that they used? Washing dirty laundry in public. If Mohan Bhagwat talks about any issue related to India abroad, would the BJP IT cell attack him for talking about India abroad?
So I think the question is that RSS definitely, Sarsanchalak Mohan Bhagwat going really typifies a crisis. That there is a deep crisis of lack of trust between Modi's leadership and United States.
I think the tide has turned. The fact of the matter is that 100 years into its existence, the RSS finds itself in an existential crisis, and this trip to the United States, to Canada and to the United Kingdom is proof of that desperation. It is proof that they are finally sensing that the mood has shifted globally against the RSS.
They want to now project RSS BJP as this economic machine which has close ties with United States, which is to tell Gen Z that if you oppose BJP and RSS, you are actually a stumbling block to newer opportunities that we are ready to open up.
Hello and a warm welcome to HW News Network, your one-stop show, truth be told, for some engaging and thought-provoking conversations. RSS Chief Mohan Bhagwat is embarking on a 3-nation tour. He's going to US, he's going to Canada, he's going to United Kingdom. But in New York, where the event is and the venue is Madison Square Garden, and that's where the entire action is playing out. There are civil society groups, there are activists, there are alternate media journalists who are raising their voices against Mohan Bhagwat's entry. In fact, what we are told is that there's going to be a press conference parallelly when Mohan Bhagwat is in New York, and they have been requesting Zohran Mamdani. They've written letters to Sergio Gore, the Indian ambassador, to get Mohan Bhagwat's visa revoked, to deny his entry. And what they've been saying is that you cannot roll out a carpet to a person in the name of religious nationalism, and he's trying to package it as unity. Now, the theme of this Madison Square Garden event is called Universal Oneness Celebrations, and it happens to coincide with the centenary celebrations of the RSS. So the big question is that will America take some stringent action against Mohan Bhagwat, given the kind of blowback we see, the kind of pushback which we are seeing on the streets of New York? There are protesters standing with placards at the Madison Square Garden. The event has not started, but every day the event is being built up in the run-up to the 29th August event, where Mohan Bhagwat is supposed to be addressing a gathering at Madison Square Garden. Now, can his visa be revoked? That's question number one. Can he face arrest? Will Donald Trump dare to take some stringent action against Mohan Bhagwat? What could be the fallout? How does this situation play out geopolitically, given the fact that constantly Sergio Gore has been trying to put Modi government on the back foot, whether it was on the G7 summit or whether it was the fake news on the Indian TV news channels. So every day, Sergio Gore is trying to show a mirror to Modi government. And now with Bhagwat coming to America, how will it play out? Joining me this evening is Professor Ajay Gudavarthy, who is an academician at the Jawaharlal Nehru University and author. Thank you so much, Ajay, for joining. We have Pushparaj Deshpande, author and policy expert who works closely with the Foreign Affairs Department of the Congress. Thank you so much, Pushparaj, for joining. And let me begin with Pushparaj, just to get things in perspective. Do you think that America really can dare to revoke Bhagwat's visa? And the kind of protests which we see on the streets of New York, what does it go to show?
A very good evening to you, Professor Gudavarthy, and our panelists, Neelu ji. See, I want to put a couple of things in context. Firstly, there is deep unease with RSS's and BJP's ideological international that they have pursued over the last 15 years. You know for a fact that Prime Minister Modi and the Sangh Parivar have supported far-right factions of the MAGA faction of the Republican Party, Reform, the Tories. They have campaigned, and of course AfD in Germany. They have also campaigned for these parties for elections. Prime Minister Modi himself campaigned in Texas, Howdy Modi, and so on and so forth. Same thing happened in the United Kingdoms, where under Operation Go Dharmik, they actually campaigned and funded 48 far-right candidates of the Tory parties. This is in the 2019 Labour election. So this is seen as interference in foreign nations. Now, this was primarily limited to the progressive parties and progressive policymakers who felt that the BJP was leveraging and deploying, even if it was a microscopic section of the Indian diaspora, they felt that they were deploying these diaspora forces, roughly about 2% of the total diaspora population, to work and support and fund these far-right candidates and far-right parties. Right? This was BJP's Faustian deal, that we will support you and you will allow us to raise funds now for our far-right causes. Now, just to give you one example, there's a report in the United States that says that in just 2016, a non-election year, the BJP raised almost $150 million now to support far-right causes. This is from the United States alone. And the BJP has a presence, whether it's overseas friends of BJP or the RSS, in almost 60-65 such nations across the world. So you can look at the huge river of money that is flowing to support far-right causes. Whether it comes into India, I don't know. But that's a different story. That's one part of the argument. Now what is happening is Mohan Bhagwat is going there because...
what is the real objective, Pushparaj, according to you, behind Mohan Bhagwat's visit to New York?
Yeah, I'm coming to that. The point is, the reason why RSS Sar Sanchalak is now going to the US is because these far-right leaders, whether it was Boris Johnson, whether it is Trump, whether it is other far-right leaders, populist autocrats as we call them, they have realized that Prime Minister Modi is not keeping his end of the deal. Neither is the diaspora faction actually yielding any support in terms of material resources, or it actually juxtaposes and flies bang opposite to their anti-immigration stance. So that's one problem. The second problem is that they felt that Prime Minister Modi will be a counter to China. That has also not worked. And now they're bullying him. They are publicly vilifying him. You see what Boris Johnson said the other day. You see what Trump is saying every day. You see what Sergio Gore is saying every day. They've realized that Prime Minister Modi has outlived his utility. So that is why RSS Sar Sanchalak is going there, because they have realized that by blindly associating themselves with the BJP, they have burnt their fingers. There is now a target on the RSS's back. So this is a whitewashing tour. He is going there to basically rehabilitate the RSS's image and to publicly position. And I would be very carefully watching what who Mohan Bhagwat talks about, which BJP leader Mohan Bhagwat talks about in the United States, in Canada and UK, because that is...
Are you saying, Pushparaj, that when Mohan Bhagwat reaches New York, he might not talk about Modi at all, not talk about BJP at all? He will shed off that baggage and establish himself over there as an independent entity altogether?
No. He is not going to do it as ham-handed as that. They still have 913 days left in government. So they're not going to want to destabilize 3 years of government or governance to support the RSS, but they are going to start positioning another candidate. That's very clear. Who these 2-3 people are, that we will have to see, but that is going to happen. More importantly,
just allow me to interrupt you, because your statements are raising my curiosity level as well.
Sure.
So does Mohan Bhagwat's visit to New York also mean that he is going to be projecting RSS, which is minus Modi, and also projecting his new options for the post of the Prime Minister? Would that be a possibility?
He is going to rehabilitate the RSS's image, that's for sure. whether they start positioning other people, because see, this could have been deputed to any junior RSS or BJP candidate. It could have been Ram Madhav, who goes often.
Yeah.
It could have been Subramanian Swamy, who also goes often and has good ties with far right policymakers. It could have been a whole host of people. It could have been Sudhindra Kulkarni from the RSS. Why is the Sarsanchalak going? This is because they mean business. They're going because they want to impress upon people there that we are serious about rehabilitating our image and to position subtly a new set of stakeholders. That's one part of it. But the fundamental question that we should be asking, two fundamental questions. I mean, this is all internal stuff that they are doing. One, the chief minister of a state, the Chief Minister Revant Reddy of Telangana, was denied political clearance to go to the US by the MEA, saying that his visit was political and was not in the best interest of either Telangana or of India. How is, even if Sarsanchalak is a private citizen, how is this visit, if any aid or support to the Indian government or the nation or the state? That's the first question. And the second question is, they keep vilifying leader of opposition Rahul Gandhi every time he goes abroad. Whenever he talks about India abroad, they say that, oh, he's what is the phrase that they used? Washing dirty laundry in public. If Mohan Bhagwat talks about any issue related to India abroad, would the BJP IT cell attack him for talking about India abroad? These are the two questions that we should be asking.
Right, but now after Amit Malia's exit, I wonder if the IT cell of the BJP is going to have the same toxicity level. I have my doubts on that. But coming to you, Ajay, how would you see these protests growing against Mohan Bhagwat? Can America really dare to revoke his visa, or Trump would try and use this opportunity, to leverage his own benefits and what he has in mind?
Absolutely, Neelu. I think apart from all the factors, Pushparaj rightly pointed out, I think one should also focus on the corporate lobby. America, United States is a state run by corporate.
Ajay, can you shift towards the center a little, because you're at the edge of the frame? No, the other way, the other side. Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
So I think one should also focus on the corporate lobby. I think one of the grave concerns that United States really has is the stagnant economy India is going through, that there is no steady market here. Purchasing power of people has fallen. So I think there is an economic concern as well. So United States, if you look at their history, if you read somebody like Richard Falk, who says that their external foreign policy is always linked to corporate interests. So I think the question is that RSS definitely, Sarsanchalak, Mohan Bhagwat going really typifies a crisis, that there is a deep crisis of lack of trust between Modi's leadership and United States. But I don't think United States will step beyond its calling to actually take a position on behalf of what's happening in India. That is too much of a call. I don't think Trump will go that far to say that there are human rights violations happening in India, or to call out RSS and say that RSS is a religious fundamentalist organization. I don't think any of that is happening. Sarsanchalak will try and project RSS as a global cultural organization which is learning from the world, which is trying to bring different countries and cultures together. It is a multicultural organization. You will have a completely different kind of a language that he will use in United States, which has nothing to do what RSS actually does here. So actually the question therefore comes, how much of these protests will actually matter in American public opinion, that how much of this is going to influence the popularity. One should also not forget that Trump's popularity, there's a steady and a steep decline. So Trump himself is facing a crisis in United States, that there is a steady decline of Trump's popularity ratings. Last 1 year there has been a steady decline. He has come well below 40%. So that's the second dimension one has to keep in mind. What is it that the Trump will really look forward to? Is it the South Asian votes? Is it the South Asian lobby? Is it the Indian diaspora? What is on the political front that interest, and what is that lobbying that they will do? So, Neelu, the point is simple, that RSS history it's not an anti-imperialist force. It is pro-imperialism. It always has ties with American corporate lobby and corporate interest. It all depends on what they will give away. So RSS is going to only position itself within that frame, and US also will position itself. So there will be nothing of great consequence that is going to come out of this, except to whitewash, as Pushparaj was saying, that RSS will project itself as some kind of a grand multicultural organization which believes in human rights, in coexistence, and they will also talk about, maybe in oblique manner, to recent student protests and say that RSS believes in dissent as a necessary dimension of democracy. So it will all be this kind of an empty talk. And media might accost him with few questions, but then how RSS answers those questions. It's always whataboutery and saying things of that kind. So I don't think it is of political. What will be the great political consequence for us in India? That what is that opposition can lever out of this visit? That's a question we should ideally be discussing. That what is the right angle that opposition should be arguing? What is the narrative that we need in Indian context to talk to our own people?
Right. No, I'm just taking a cue from what you said. Pushparaj, if I may come to you, what should the opposition, what should be the questions of the opposition when Bhagwat is going? And of course, back home, we've seen the way Priyank Kharge has raised questions on the registration of RSS and how RSS is reaching out to its own affiliate organizations who got registered in America, but back home they don't want to do that. And with all the support of the government, they are brazen enough in India. So, what will the opposition continue to raise those questions while Bhagwat is in New York?
It's not just the opposition, but any progressive forces committed to the constitutional idea of India will raise these legitimate questions. I mean, how can you possibly register yourself abroad, but not register yourself in your home nation? It just beggars belief that an organization can collect and build assets and collect funds worth billions of billions of dollars, but not be registered. I mean, isn't this tax evasion 101? But my point is that we should also acknowledge that many progressive diaspora Indians, not just those who are publicly and vocally protesting against Mohan Bhagwat and the RSS, but also the vast majority, the silent majority of diaspora Indians who don't believe in casteism, who don't believe in communalism. These Indians, who primarily the second generation, third generation Indians, don't see themselves as communal, casteist, regressive, patriarchal. They see themselves as liberal, progressive, secular. These people are actually very committed to the constitutional idea of India, and they want deeper ties with India. They want our ties to be socio-cultural, economic, right? So it is this community which is increasingly going to see what the RSS is, what the BJP stands for. And the more that these people go and engage, I mean, I know that this is a desperate attempt for them to obfuscate what they really stand for and to quote Gen Z lingo, to gaslight diaspora Indians into believing that no, you've all been deluded by the progressive forces in India, by the opposition, by leader of opposition Rahul Gandhi. But no matter how hard they try to gaslight them, I think the tide has turned. The fact of the matter is that 100 years into its existence, the RSS finds itself in an existential crisis. And this trip to the United States, to Canada, and to the United Kingdom is proof of that desperation. It is proof that they are finally sensing that the mood has shifted globally against the RSS and, of course, the BJP. So I think it's just downhill from here for them.
So you're saying it's downhill from here, but Ajay, are we going to see a repackaged RSS in New York? Like what you said, that they will try and show how great a multicultural organization they are, but also this trip is coinciding with the 100-year celebrations of RSS, and that too celebrating at a venue like Madison Square Garden. What does it mean for RSS, and will they try and become, or rather look more secular? Will they leave behind their baggage, of the yesteryears? Can we say that? And, at a global level, how will they project themselves? That is also another question.
Yes, Neelu, I think that's important that, this trip has to be seen in light of two important developments in India. One, obviously, is the CJP protest, the Gen Z protest, calling out Mr. Modi I think has been a big global embarrassment for RSS and the BJP. So I think this one has to understand this visit of Mohan Bhagwat is in terms of repositioning and trying to tell. I think primary purpose is not US lobbying, but primary purpose is optics back in India. That they want to communicate to Indians here, especially to Gen Z, who are looking forward to greener pastures, greater opportunities, that RSS has close relations with United States. RSS is the one which is opening up doors, RSS and of course the BJP, for greater opportunities in United States. And we are on good books of RSS, of United States, Trump and the Republicans. So that's the primary purpose. The second occasion, Neelu, one should not forget, is also Rahul Gandhi's frontal attack on RSS, that he has called out and mentioned in public a lot of facts about RSS, about their masculinity, about the patriarchy, about Manusmriti, whole range of discourses and narratives Rahul has put has been a great embarrassment, their casteism.
So you are saying that we can expect Mohan Bhagwat to speak on patriarchy, about are you saying that? Who knows?
I don't know if he'll directly speak on patriarchy, but the fact is that this trip is coming not in terms of US lobbying, but to produce new optics and new space and legitimacy for BJP back in India. That especially Gen Z, which is global in character, which obviously looks for greener pastures abroad, they want to now project RSS, BJP as this economic machine which has close ties with United States, which is to tell Gen Z that if you oppose BJP and RSS, you are actually a stumbling block to newer opportunities that we are ready to open up. So they want to tell you they're expanding economy. I think he will speak more on the question of economic opportunities, global linkages and things of that rather than patriarchy, Manusmriti. They will just simply avoid those issues. So I think we'll have to understand that RSS is trying to salvage Mr. Modi's leadership in light of Gen Z protests and Rahul Gandhi's frontal attack. So I think much of the public discourse and positioning will be oblique answering to this criticism that has come. That whole thing, the kind of abuses hurled at Mr. Modi, the way his image has taken a beating. They might want to reposition Mr. Modi's image at the global stage. They might want to say that, they also want to
reposition Modi. Ajay, will RSS chief reposition Modi? Or will they distance themselves from Prime Minister Modi and look for newer options?
Yes, I don't think at this stage they will distance. They will reposition Mr. Modi by saying that, dissent is allowed. We express dissent. We are always for dissent. All that kind of a talk they will go into. So we'll have to, so there are two purposes. One, to answer Gen Z and arrest the anti-BJP mood that has generated in India, and to project to the global audience that, we have not lost everything. We are not anti-dissent. We are not anti-democratic. We are liberal. We are accommodative. So these are the two primary purposes. It is, one has to understand RSS, BJ in terms of optics. And whatever happens at the backhand, whatever deals, corporate lobbying, all that is behind the scenes that will go on. But the primary political project of it, Neelu, will be this, to arrest the kind of steep decline, loss of legitimacy Mr. Modi's leadership has seen. I think Mr. Bhagwat will try to reposition Mr. Modi's leadership. They will try to balance and say, we are for Gen Z, we are for dissent, we are for younger generation, we want discussion and not dictation, usual those cliches. But they will say anarchy is not good in democracy, one should not overstep. This is the balancing act. And back home, they will communicate that, Rahul Gandhi and opposition is not able to take on, they don't have the necessary consent. And therefore, we are here to provide greater opportunities. We are here to have closer ties. So the primary purpose is to have an economic agenda projected for the Gen Z. They have failed on the political front. They have failed on the social front. The primary question of jobs, future of Gen Z that is troubling them. I think one of the positionings they will do is that by having closer ties with the United States, we are here to open up, which no other party can do. That we have close ties with Mr. Trump, we will open up newer opportunities for you. I think these are the two things they will try to optics. So we'll have to see their optics back home. Their language will be to read between lines and address to Gen Z.
Right. Pushparaj, I'll come to you now that even if Bhagwat talks about, in the language of appeasing the Gen Z, but the Gen Z audience, which has heard Rahul Gandhi about smash the patriarchy, it has spoken to the girls about finding their own independent space and raise your voices. How much of a resonance will Bhagwat's voice have in New York with the Gen Z back home in India?
Almost none. There's going to be almost no resonance. See, you have to understand, to take an analogy from history, post the emergency, and because of the excess of the emergency, there was, and Professor Gudavarthy will attest to this, there was a deep anti-congressism that set in with many stakeholders who suffered from the emergencies. That's why many of these socialist leaders still continue to have this anti-congressy attitude even till date. So the fact of the matter is that today, after what happened in this the protest, how the state has reacted, how the BJP government reacted towards the Gen Z, that anti-congressism is anti-BJPism is already set in, and this generation, whether it's Gen Z or Gen A, has seen the BJP at its worst. So no matter what you do now, they are always going to remember that you guys beat us up. You guys, lathi charged us. You guys assaulted us. This is set in their mind. So no amount of obfuscation, gaslighting, whether they even use, if Giriraj Singh goes around, Giriraj Singh goes around and does, I'm a baby guy, I'm a baby boomer, all of that stuff. No matter what they do, it ain't working. Because you can't replicate authenticity. You adopt the lexicon of the Gen Z, but just to continue doing the same regressive politics that you've done for the last 12, 15 years. No one is buying that. Least of all, this generation, who's far more disruptive than any other generation before it. That's one part of it. The second thing is, this could be possibly the worst time visit in the United States. November is the elections. November section, the midterm elections finished, right? November will also be the time when Israel goes into elections, and there is very likelihood that the Likud party will fall. This is the absolute worst time to go there, because you'll have many congressmen, many
no, but then that again shows how short-sighted. Shows how short-sighted they've been as far as the planning of the trip is concerned.
No. Let's never underestimate the RSS and the BJP. Never underestimate your opponents. They have gone there precisely to offer their support for the midterms.
Okay.
They have gone there, we will help you. Please rehabilitate our image. We will help you. The problem is they have not understood the politics of the United States because of ICE, which is no less than what is happening in India. What the Indian state did to the Gen Z crowd in across this country. That is what ICE is doing there. So whether we like it or not, the MAGA faction of the Republicans is going to lose. So no matter whether the RSS goes there to offer its help, the fact of the matter is that they are not going to be able to stop the inevitable. Come November, many of the legislators they would have met would have actually would have lost in the House and the Senate, and these guys would be completely out in the cold.
No, but if this is the objective, Pushparaj, if this is the objective that he goes to New York to extend a helping hand to Donald Trump for midterm elections, what about their opposition senators? Are they not going to raise a voice? Will it not amount to political interference in the other countries' affairs?
It will, and they will. They have already started doing that. See what Rokh Khanna is saying. See what many of these legislators are saying.
Absolutely.
They are saying that what is happening, because see, every nation, including India, is very touchy about foreign interference in democratic elections, in the domestic politics, right? You remember what happened when the Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump happened, that election happened, and they accused Russia of interfering in the US elections. This is the same kind of thing, of course, because you guys are like doing it in a ham-handed manner, the RSS. So it is not the same level of interference, but it tantamounts to the same thing. Why will any government or nation tolerate another nation interfering in their domestic politics? They won't. This is going to create even further backlash, because they will say that these guys just don't learn their lesson. And trust me on this one, I again reiterate, this is going to be the beginning of the end.
Beginning of the end of RSS, you're saying?
That time will tell. I'm certainly saying for the government. But I think that the global credibility that they're going to lose is going to escalate.
Right. Let me get a quick concluding comment from Ajay, and then we'll close the program. So, is it the end of the RSS, or you see somewhere the beginning of the end of the Modi government? Because if Trump is also going to face backlash, from where is Prime Minister Modi going to extract all the power? If Trump also loses, what will Modi do?
Yeah, that's precisely. See, there is now a simultaneous crisis. As Modi's graph is going down, Trump's graph is also going down. Now, will Trump extend a helping hand, or no? They want now mutually to help, extend mutual helping hand between RSS and Trump, BJP and Trump. Now, is this a possible strategy? The two declining graphs coming together. Does it help? That is the calculation Trump will really make. If the midterm polls, will it really help him to project himself? So, Neelu, now there is also Hindus for Human Rights. There are new diaspora groups that have been formed in the United States. And I'm told a lot of South Asians have shifted to these groups. So it also would depend how the South Asian diaspora, Indian diaspora has read the Gen Z protest. If they have really, that has influenced them, the Gen Z protest, then it's a losing game for Trump to, have Modi and, RSS, vouching for him. So I think these are the things that will, they are on a declining graph. But as you know, RSS is always thinking, and one should not underestimate, they are thinking on their feet. They're trying to recalibrate their strategy. So I would say that on one hand, while it is about Trump, the primary purpose of this visit is to speak back to the Gen Z here. Will they succeed? That's the question we should really be discussing. Will they really succeed in arresting? Because they want now a new image, a global image, a pro-corporate image, an economic power image, the two economic powers coming together. So they want to shift that narrative. They want to now again play back that old thing. India is now a global economic power. It is with United States. We are expanding now. We are in the third largest economy, 5 trillion. They will bring back that discourse now to offset the Gen Z criticism. Now, how much of credibility will that have? Will Gen Z rethink and think that maybe there is a new opportunity for them and they should go a bit slow and give, because after all, Modi is there for next 3 years. There are also pragmatic calculations. So there is some opening there. But by and large, I think it's a very, very difficult task for them to undo, because that the kind of beating their image has taken. I can't see this trip really resetting and recalibrating the entire public discourse in India.
Right, absolutely. So it's going to be an interesting trip. One has to look out for what's going to happen in terms of optics, in terms of messaging, in terms of geopolitical relations, as far as the relationship between Modi and Trump is concerned. So lots to look forward to. But in the meanwhile, the protests are becoming louder, protests are growing. And what happens if he lands in New York? What happens then? Thank you so much. We'll have to end it here. Thank you so much, Professor Ajay. Pushparaj, thank you very much for joining.